These people crossing the border are some of the 11 million who have had to leave their homes since Russia invaded Ukraine. Some have moved to different areas in Ukraine, whilst others have fled to neighbouring countries, like here in Poland.
I'm on the border, and about 5 minutes' drive in that direction is Ukraine. This is one of the help centres that's been set up in Poland. It's weeks now since the war started, but there are still thousands of people arriving here every day. It's absolutely freezing cold. I've seen so many families arriving, and everyone is desperate for help.
13-year-old Kier spent 3 weeks here after leaving everything he knew behind.
Before the war, I went to school. I played football with my friends and planned as far as only 1 week ahead. I wasn't concerned about making plans for the future.
Can you describe to me what it was like, leaving your home, packing up your belongings really quickly and having to flee?
At 4 a.m, I woke up as a result of explosions. Initially, I thought it was a firework, because in that area where we lived, we had had fireworks very often when people celebrated something. But then when we realised it was not fireworks, it became quite frightening.
Kier travelled to Poland with his mum, but because men between the ages of 18 and 60 have been banned from leaving Ukraine so they can fight for the army there, Kier's older brother was forced to stay behind.
I can't comment on my emotions because I find it difficult by them being so mixed. It was frightening on the one hand because my brother was left behind in Ukraine, and joyful because I find myself here where the war won't reach us. In the nearest future, I hope that everything will be ended and I will be able to see my brother again.
I really hope you can see him soon too.
Kier isn't alone in leaving loved ones behind. Many families have had to make the difficult decision to separate. Marsha is 12 and has arrived in Poland with her sister, aunt and cousin. Her parents are still in Ukraine.
Initially, I thought that it was a joke and I thought I would be left with my parents at home. But then when my mom said, "Pack your bags, you are leaving tomorrow morning," I realized how serious everything was. I felt extremely sad and I left. And the first one I said goodbye to was my mom. And then my father drove us to Odessa. I was then boarding the train and saying my goodbyes to my dad, which made me feel very, very sad indeed.
Have you been speaking to your mum? And what kind of things has she been saying?
I keep in contact with my mother over the phone and with my father too. When I call her, my eyes become filled with tears. And I miss her very much, and she does too.
Marsha has been waiting for permission to travel to the UK to stay with family.
I plan to go to school and I don't know what to expect because this place is unfamiliar to me. We are heading into the unknown. I want for everything to turn out very well for us there and that we find a lot of friends in school and that everything would be fine there and that the people there would be kind.
Do you hope to come back to Ukraine?
Yes, I would like to go back when the war is over. By that time, I would be able to speak some English. I do not wish on anyone to experience anything like what I have experienced in Ukraine.
All the children I've spoken to want to go back to Ukraine as soon as they can. Until that's possible, they're relying on other countries for help. But Ukrainians wanting to take refuge in the UK have to be approved for a visa first, which is different to most of the other countries in Europe. John is British and a volunteer here. He's been helping people who want to reach the UK.
Why is it more difficult to go to the UK than other countries like France and Germany, for example?
The visa, which is what they need to gain access and to get over the border with their passport, takes about 3 to 4 weeks. It's a lengthy process. They have nothing to do but to wait.
Do you have a message for the UK government who are organising this?
They need to really just step up very quickly and make it quicker and simpler. There's a lot of noise with the politicians who are saying they're helping and they're making things easier, but we're not seeing it here yet. It's embarrassing, really.
The UK government told me they're doing everything they can to support those fleeing Ukraine. They say more than 95,000 visas have been issued in the last few weeks, and staff are working hard to process applications as quickly as they come in. But so far, only around 37,400 visa holders have arrived in the UK. Marsha and Kier are now in England safely. Others are still waiting. I'm heading to one of Poland's largest cities, Krakow, to find out what the situation is there and meet children on the next stage of their journey. 11-year-old Lisa crossed the border a few hours ago and arrived here with her mum. Her journey was dangerous and difficult.
From as
early as 9 a.m. We had to stay on the platform at the train station until 9 p.m. There were around 1,500 people on the platform. I became sad that I had to leave my animals behind. I have a cat and fish and a hamster. In the beginning, it was horrifying. I cried a lot. To leave everything behind like that, it was difficult. But eventually I understood that I don't need to cry anymore and that everything will be fine.
When Lisa arrived in Poland, she was given handmade gifts sent from other children.
I was very flattered that another child took the time to make this picture for me and wrote all these words and made me a present. I was very touched by it.
Lisa and her mum are still waiting for their visa to travel to the UK. But 15-year-old Polina, 5-year-old Taya and their mum Svetlana are on their way. They're about to fly to the UK to live with a British family. They left their home in Ukraine more than a month ago.
Even yesterday I wanted to come back home, but I understand that this is impossible.
What do you know about your host family? Have you spoken to them?
I don't know much about them, but they're amazing people. They're a family of 4 and have 2 amazing cats who are already waiting for us, and everybody will be very happy to meet us.
I went to visit them when they arrived in England.
Hello! Thank you for having me.
Come in.
Thank you, yes.
I like it here a lot. I'm so grateful. I even don't know how to express my gratitude.
Can you tell me about your plans for the future? What are they? And are you hoping to go back?
Yes, I want to go back. I want to live in Ukraine, because I know that when everything is over, it will be even better. It used to be an amazing country before, but now it will be even stronger, so life there will be amazing. Maybe it will sound childish, but I want peace to come around the world and for people not to be that bad.
люди не були такими поганими.